What's up, guys? James here. I just wanted to do a quick trade recap. I'm showing you guys this on my iPad. This is the Thinkorswim app on the iPad. You can trade from it, although it doesn't have some of the features that would make your trading successful, so I wouldn't recommend it. But you can observe charts, and it's decent for an overview. I can certainly use it for this recap, but I do trade using the Thinkorswim platform on a PC. Again, Tom and I, we are very first on the, very first stages of day trading and learning and getting our education up. I think that we're learning fast, so you'll hear terminology. You'll hear us start to use terminology that we're familiar with, and you'll hear us starting to make more and more comfortable trades, on patterns that we're comfortable with. As I do these recaps, I'm begging traders who are familiar with what they're doing to leave comments, give us pointers, let us know how we can improve, what we can do differently. If you're new to trading and you're learning with us, then just take it for a grain of salt. Number one, we're not trading with real money yet, hopefully one day soon, and we are in the very beginning stages of our learning, so bear with us. All right, so this is PIXY. This was yesterday that I traded PIXY on Friday, August 21st. Excuse me. It popped up on a scanner, so I was actually trading a different stock that had peaked the previous day. I made August 20th on Thursday, and I had made a great deal of profits in my paper trading account on that stock, and I was trying to chase it into the next day, which I shouldn't have been. It had gone all the way it was going to go and was starting to taper off, and I was still trying to chase it, which I shouldn't have been. Finally, I let that stock go and went back to my scanner and to see what was happening on the market, and PIXY was one of the ones that popped up. I observed this stock pretty close to open, not spot on it, but around here in this it wasn't this, I'm sure it was in here, that the volume, it was this 934 candles when I saw it. So as you can see, I'm sure it was on the scanner prior to with these candles, but at 9:30, the market, there's not millions and millions and millions of volume showing up on my scanner, and I'll show you about my scanner on another video, what I'm looking for. I have a volume scanner as my main go-to to find stocks in the morning. But this, when it goes here, when it all of a sudden pops to 682,000 shares traded, and then boom, almost 1 million shares showed, and then this is where it climbed up when it went to 2 million shares, and all of a sudden it was over 4 million at 9:35 a.m. That's when it showed up on my scanner. So I looked at it, I popped over to it. I actually didn't get over to it and see it until it was already into this 9:36 a.m. candle, and it was starting to drop. So I didn't do any trading in it yet. I opened up the stock, I looked at the volume, and I started checking out the company. So the company had news on the 20th. I guess it was peaking even a day later, which was kind of encouraging, not knowing much about how news affects the markets yet, to see news happen on August 20 and be affecting the stock on August 21st on a listed stock. That's something that's something that's rare. Usually the news is worked in by then, so the news or the catalyst should be worked into the price on the second day of a listed stock, but it wasn't. It was still working. So that made me think that maybe the news of this company moving their corporate location to Miami, maybe that was something. They're moving sideways to the East Coast. Maybe that's bigger news than what I thought it was. Looking at the company was is simply a professional services industry, and they do stuff like they work for the hospitality industry. They do what I don't want to misquote, insurance, payroll, operational employment services, yada yada. They're services, they're a services business. If you look at their 1 year chart here, they haven't been looking great. Even before the coronavirus, they weren't looking amazing. But what they did have, what did attract me to it, is that it's on the low side of its 52-week range, which you can see that clearly, which means it has some elbow room. That's obviously not always a good sign. It also had a pretty low shares outstanding. That 16 million is a pretty low shares outstanding. I went and checked out the FinViz on it. Let me pull that really quick. Also a cool ticker, PIXY. You don't get cool tickers like that all the time. Look at this float. 3.22 million float. That's right here. I don't know if I can highlight it here, but yeah, there you go. 3.22 million share float. That's a low float. And looking at the chart here, let's let this thing catch up to me. You start to see this volume come in here. That's a 500,000, 3 million, 8 million, 1 million. Sorry, yeah, 500,000. Sorry, 800,000, 1 million, 1.6, 2.6, boom, 4.6, 4.6 million. So within the first 5 minutes of open, you have the first rotation of their float. That's a good sign that this stock, this company, is going to have some validity going into the day. The price is going to move around. So I appreciated that. By the time that I had looked at the news, which I didn't love, frankly, I didn't understand how moving a corporate headquarters across the country was supposed to be a news catalyst. But man, that volume and that low float just really attracted me to the stock. So my first buy into this was a relatively low position here as this green candle overtook the previous red candle's high. So as this first green candle, overtook the high of the previous red candle, I bought in. Obviously, it didn't close there, but the next green candle did. It was into this. I sold it really well. This first one I sold really well, which is why this is the stock that I stared at all day long, because I got kind of attached to it based on this very first trade. Made a great deal of profit on this very first trade. I sold it about perfect here, just at $4.98, $4.99. So I continued to watch it. It plummeted. It did another little dip here, and I tried to buy in again here. And this green candle wasn't bad. I did make a little bit more there, but nothing to write home about. I tried to buy here and got punished. So I was watching this go up, but I had already marked on my chart this key resistance level. The resistance level I had marked was where I have this red line, and that's let's see if I can say exactly what the dollar amount is. Whatever, it's right there. It's just there you go, around 5.2. Around 5.20 was the high of day. It was the high of day, and frankly, if we look at a longer chart, I think it was the highest, and it had been in a hot minute. Let's see if I'm right. Yeah, so it had been a couple weeks. So it was a good key position. Good key resistance level. Let me get my chart to catch back up to what I'm talking about here. Great. So I bought right here, and this is where my first negative on the day was. I bought right here at, if I had marked, I don't remember what I marked, but I had marked a cent position that was just above this high of day, because I know that when a stock price pops above a high of day, usually there's a lot of short squeezes, a lot of short stops, and a lot of people buying because they're familiar with this move, and it pops. It did pop. I didn't sell, obviously, at the high. What was it, 5.28, something like that. I wanted a little bit more out of it. I held it, and within the next minute, it had dropped again. So I cut my losses as quickly as I could there, and then unfortunately watched the price climb right back up. But at that point, I was ticked off. It tested that point again, didn't break that high a day, and then it came up and started testing again on this candle, and didn't break it. On this candle, it did break it, but I didn't buy because I wasn't convinced. It was decent volume, but not the highest volume that we've been seeing all day. This was a consistent climb here over the course of 5 or 6 minutes. I didn't buy again into this stock because I just wasn't convinced until this dip right here. It went red, and I was looking at what I felt was a good indication that this thing was going to climb. It had been doing this all day, climbing a bit, pulling back, climbing a bit, pulling back, and then it climbed really nicely and started to pull back. And I couldn't think of a reason why it would be dipping right here that hard. So I bought in ready with a really, really tight stop because I didn't know what was going to happen with it. Again, we're above the high of the day, so this is when a lot of shorts start selling into the market, which tends to wash out the price, especially on a low float stock like this. So this one paid off. This is another one where I made plenty of money. I think my total, I sold it, again, not too bad. I sold it up here into this, I sold it in this candle because I saw the shape of this candle. I didn't like it. That shape of that candle, there's a lot of volume, not a whole lot of price movement. It didn't open, it opened and closed relatively closely together. If that happens, that means that there's just as many sellers as buyers. And that's generally an indication that if you have a top candle like this where it has big volume but it starts here and ends there, then that's a lot of buyers pushing up the price. If you have one that starts there and ends there with the same amount of volume, just simple logic tells you that there's a lot of sellers in there, so the price isn't climbing. And when you have a low float stock like this, that means that the price is going to be affected, and so I sold, and it was. In the very next minute, it went on down. At that point, I had made probably just under $1,000 in this stock. When you work it into my losses of the other stock that I shouldn't have been in at all, but I was, I think I made something like $300 in paper money on this day, and $800 I think on Thursday. So if I was playing with actual money, if I was actually working, then this would have been a decent couple of days, a little over $1,000. Not bad for a starter, playing with paper. The stock, just to give you a rundown what the stock did the rest of the day, I actually stopped. I had other things to do, and since I had battled my way back into the green, I let it go. I was in it and out of it pretty close to the highs of the day. The high of the day was 622. The stock did a really nice panic after that, with a couple of dip buy opportunities, but nothing that I probably would have been jumping on, especially when it dropped below VWAP. I currently don't have super high amount of confidence trading stocks that are on a downtrend like that, dip buying stocks that are on a downtrend like that below VWAP. That just makes me nervous, even though there were some really great breakouts. I might have bought into this one and got a little bit if I saw that good volume coming back in on that good volume right there coming in on green candle. I might have bought into that, but even that tested VWAP and failed. The good runs weren't until later in the afternoon, 1-2 o'clock. And by then I had long shut my computer off, so I didn't have anything to do with that. The stock rightfully consolidated in the afternoon and closed in the between 3.4 and 3.5. I'm sorry, 4.4 and 4.5. I think that's probably where this stock belongs. If I had to guess going into next week, it'll probably have a good red day on Monday, would be my prediction, based on the news just not being so crazy good that it should have a 25% increase. They moved their headquarters, which is technically an expense. So what you're seeing here is a lot of the people who are going to buy are going to hold. I think that this stock moved as much as it did because it was such a low float and high volume, and that's what was driving the stock to move around, not as much the catalyst. So my prediction is that the stock's going to probably have a good red day on Monday. But what do I know? I don't know what I'm doing. So you tell me. In the comments below, give me your opinions on how I traded this stock, if I could have done better. I pretty much told you what my mindset was. I had a plan for about every trade that I made. So in the comments, tell me what you thought. Tell me if I'm on the right track, if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. If you're new and you appreciated this video, leave a comment as well. And of course, be sure to like the video. We need the likes. Subscribe to us so that you can watch our videos on a continuous basis. And if you hit that bell, then you can be alerted when we post a new video, and you can either learn as we're learning, or you can, quickly help us out with a comment and put us in the right direction if we're doing something that we shouldn't be. Thanks again. Just press A. See y'all later.